A look at what a war with Iraq might cost in Iraq and at home. Our economics correspondent Paul Salmon of WGBH Boston reports.
One of the key elements, as you know, in any grand strategy is the economics of war. What will it cost you in the short term and in the long term?
The exclusive Grand Strategy course at Yale. Last week, in a debate between those who teach it, historian Paul Kennedy anguished over the cost of war. Political scientist Charles Hill's position, not to worry.
The U.S. has the power to do this operation swiftly, and it will be a war that will not do great damage to Iraq, to its installations, to its infrastructure, or to its people.
In short, a war with great benefits, Hill insisted, and modest costs. Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld, for example, won't go.
What we have done is we have taken estimates looking at different variables and said, if this were the case on this variable and then on this variable, but there's so many variables that the numbers of possible point answers create a range that simply isn't useful.
There is, however, a noted Yale economist who's tried to reckon the cost of an Iraq war. William Nordhaus, an economic advisor in the Carter administration, has become known for pricing non-market activities like leisure, global warming. In a study that's gotten lots of notice, he's costed out the war, starting with the incremental costs of actually fighting it, costs beyond soldiers' normal pay, weapons already bought, like the cost of moving troops halfway across the globe.
Main incremental costs are fuel costs, they're the cost of pulling up the reserves, the combat pay, the missiles, all the smart weapons that we're going to use.
Weapons we've already paid for, but we'll have to replace. Total fighting cost?
At the low end, about $50 billion if things go smoothly. At the high end, for the military, maybe $150 billion if things are protracted and go on a while.
Thus, Nordhaus has priced two war scenarios. Best case, victory within hours or days. Worst case, with oil fields destroyed, cities under siege, years of occupation. But the worst case entails a lot more cost categories than just fighting.
There are going to be internally displaced and refugees. We need humanitarian assistance. Then there's going to be the actual occupation / peacekeeping cost. Then there's going to be reconstruction of whatever is destroyed in the last few wars in that area. All of those are going to be pretty big ticket items.
Well, what's your low-end and high-end estimates there?
Low end in the order of $100 billion over the next 10 years. High end, maybe $600 billion over the next decade.
So Nordhaus figures we'll be spending some $150 billion on the low end, as much as $750 billion on the high end for military-related costs. But, says Nordhaus, there's also the overall impact on the economy, especially of the price of oil.
The biggest risk here is that there'll be destruction of the oil wells, perhaps some either in Iraq or maybe in some of the neighboring countries, maybe some boycotts, and then oil prices shoot up. And the numbers I looked at were up to $75 a barrel from a normal price of $20 or $25 a barrel.
$75 a barrel means roughly $3 a gallon for gas. A shock to drivers, perhaps, but a bigger shock to the economy as a whole.
It's a kind of in-your-face price increase here at the pump, but there are other subtle increases as it ripples through the economy. You'll see it in home heating, you'll see it in electricity, you'll see it in the products you buy, you'll see it in the price of your airline ticket, and it's going to be like a big tax increase, $100 billion tax increase facing the American people if we see those big oil price increases.
And what happens when you have a $100 billion tax increase or something like that?
When you have something like that, consumers spend less, businesses invest less, and I think there's a good chance you trigger a recession.
Combine the cost of higher energy prices with the cost of the recession they'd likely trigger, and Nordhaus adds another $1.2 trillion to the cost of the war, worst case. On the other hand, best case could mean lower oil prices, 25 cents or more down, and a benefit to the economy.
You know, people breathe a sigh of relief, oil prices come back down a little, people stop getting nervous because it's over quickly, and so actually the economy will probably do a little bit better if things really turn out well.
So bottom line, in Nordhaus's best case scenario, cheap oil and lower prices at the pump Cancel out some of the war costs, and you get a tab of about $100 billion, some $1,000 per U.S. household. The worst case, higher prices at home, more spending abroad, a total of roughly $2 trillion, $20,000 per U.S. household over a decade. But others argue this is too pessimistic, that the best case would revive consumer and business spending, jumpstart the stock market. At a dinner with economists recently, Donald Kagan reports,
their judgment was that if a war were fought against Saddam Hussein, and if it were won, and it were won relatively quickly and painlessly, the effect on the American economy would be a boost, a very significant boost.
But Kagan, a Yale historian of ancient warfare, is skeptical of any economic analysis of war.
It's remarkable to me how these very difficult and mathematical and very scientific observations and calculations almost always end up with a recommendation that accords with the political position that the economist had before he ever looked into the question. That strikes me as being worth noticing.
Kagan favors the war. Nordhaus, who hasn't taken a position on it, bristles at the idea his results are political.
I'll just tell you my own experience with this was that I started on it because I was kind of curious.